Amazon dropped a bombshell, their very own AI-powered IDE, named Kiro. And let me tell you, it's not just another blip on the radar, this is a serious contender. We're talking about yet another VS Code fork, stepping into the arena to battle for your coding heart alongside heavyweights like Cursor, Windsor, Firebase Studio, and even GitHub Copilot. The competition is fierce, and Amazon is not playing around. Kiro is powered by Claude Sonnet 4.0, but here's the kicker. Amazon claims it's engineered to tackle complexity far better than its rivals. Thanks to a revolutionary approach they're calling Spec-Driven development. And the best part? Right now, it's completely free to use. Yes, you heard that right, free. But wait, there's more good news bubbling up for developers worldwide. The coding landscape is evolving at an unprecedented pace. Just recently, the brilliant minds in China unveiled Kimmy K2, an open-weight agentic coding model that is reportedly approaching the performance of none other than Claude itself. Think about that for a moment. Open-weight, powerful, and accessible. These AI tools are becoming so incredibly potent, it begs the question, could they even fix the infamous pirate software's code that has been a long-standing meme across the internet? Could this finally be the moment the entire internet stops dunking on that guy? Only time will tell, but the possibilities are truly mind-boggling. In today's deep dive, we're going to put Amazon Kiro through its paces. We're going to scrutinize every feature, every claim, and ultimately, discover if it truly lives up to the hype as the ultimate Cursor and Copilot killer. You might recall, just a few short weeks ago, the tech world was buzzing with news that OpenAI was on the verge of acquiring another prominent versus code fork, Windsor, for a staggering sum of billions of dollars. It was a deal that sent shockwaves through the industry, signaling the immense value placed on these developer tools. However, as quickly as it emerged, that monumental deal spectacularly fell apart. And then, just when you thought the story couldn't get any more dramatic, Google swooped in. They didn't buy the company, no. Instead, they strategically gutted all the top talent from Windsor, convincing them to abandon ship and join the Google ranks for $2.4 billion. This move, while a strategic victory for Google, undeniably left many of the loyal employees at Windsor in a precarious position. It was a tough blow, for sure. But here's where the plot thickens even further. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost for Windsor, Cognition, the brilliant creators behind the groundbreaking AI agent Devon, stepped in. They swooped in after Google's talent grab, buying up what appeared to be the remaining scraps in what's been reported as an all-stock deal. This sequence of events paints a vivid picture of the current tech landscape. We are living in a world where companies are literally willing to pay billions of dollars for a versus code fork. Why? Because every major tech player is desperately vying for the attention and loyalty of developers. They are all in a relentless race to get developers to use their products, to integrate their ecosystems into your daily workflow. However, when we talk about who's truly taking the lion's share of developer money right now, one company stands head and shoulders above the rest: Anthropic. And their success, my friends, is primarily thanks to their phenomenal Claude Code CLI tool. The numbers speak for themselves. Anthropic went from less than $1 billion in revenue last year to an astounding over $4 billion this year. That's an astronomical leap, demonstrating the immense value developers are finding in their AI-powered solutions. And here's an interesting connection. One of Anthropic's biggest investors is none other than Amazon, who has already poured a staggering $8 billion into the company so far. This substantial investment highlights Amazon's strategic interest in the AI developer tools space, and perhaps foreshadows their own ambitions. Now, if you're not already utilizing Claude Code directly, there's a very high probability you're leveraging an IDE like Cursor, which is powered by Claude in the background. Cursor has been a fantastic tool, offering an intuitive interface to harness the power of Claude for code generation and assistance. It's been a game changer for many. But here's the inherent challenge. Anthropic essentially has Cursor by the balls, if you will. For developers to access and utilize Claude's capabilities through Cursor, Cursor must act as the middleman, integrating Claude and pricing it in a way that allows them to remain profitable. This dynamic creates a delicate balance. Recently, Cursor attempted to implement some tweaks to its pricing structure. Unfortunately, these adjustments caught many customers completely off guard, leading to sudden, unexpectedly high AI coding bills. The backlash was immediate and understandable, forcing Cursor to issue a public apology. It was a clear demonstration of the tightrope walk these companies face when relying on external AI models. And as if that weren't enough of a challenge for Cursor, now enters Kiro. Amazon's Kiro is also a versus code fork, boasting many strikingly similar features to Cursor. But here's the crucial point. Based on its initial pricing, it appears you'll be able to extract significantly more utility from Claude through Kiro, and at a much lower price point. I'm sure it's a total coincidence that Amazon chose to release Kiro at this precise moment, right? But enough talk about market dynamics and corporate strategies. Let's actually put Kiro to the test and find out if it truly lives up to its promise. My initial impressions are quite positive on the user interface front. I think the UI looks incredibly polished and aesthetically pleasing. However, I did notice it felt a bit sluggish at times, and it was missing some of those smaller, quality of life features that you might find in Cursor, like chat checkpoints. I also encountered a few delays due to the service being overloaded, which is somewhat expected with a brand new, early release product experiencing a surge of initial interest. These are kinks that are usually ironed out over time. But the biggest, most significant difference between Kiro and its competitors lies in its philosophical approach. Kiro actively tries to prevent you from generating a cascade of slop, a term for poorly thought out or incoherent code, all at once. Rather than immediately jumping into code generation, Kiro encourages, even nudges, you to begin your development journey in what they call a requirements.md file. This requirements file is where you meticulously define crucial elements like the user story and all the acceptance conditions for your project. It's about establishing a clear, well-defined plan before you write a single line of code. Once that comprehensive plan is solidified, you then move on to the design phase. This involves creating a detailed design document that meticulously outlines your implementation details. We're talking about your component structure, your testing strategy, your error handling strategy, and all those critical architectural considerations. And then, finally, once both the requirements and design documents are complete and approved, these two foundational documents are seamlessly combined to generate an implementation plan. Each task within this plan precisely outlines the specific code the AI should write. Only then can you click that magical button in the IDE to initiate the AI's coding process. Now, I'll be honest, this entire process felt a bit slower compared to the rapid-fire code generation you might be used to with other tools. However, and this is a crucial, however, it felt like a far more sane and structured approach, especially if you were building something serious. If you were working on a complex enterprise-grade application, or if you were collaborating within a team of multiple developers, this structured, spec-driven approach offered by Kiro is a game-changer. It enforces discipline, promotes clarity, and drastically reduces the chances of miscommunication or architectural inconsistencies. Overall, it truly feels like an IDE that has been meticulously designed to appeal to developers operating within enterprise environments. In such settings, meticulous design documents, consistent code quality, and a methodical approach to development aren't just niceties, they're absolute necessities. Currently, Kiro is a closed-source product, and as we discussed, it's exclusively powered by Claude. However, Amazon has indicated plans to offer support for other AI models in the future, which would open up even more possibilities and flexibility for developers. Right now, Amazon is offering Kiro for free, making it an absolute no-brainer to try out. There's no risk, only potential reward. But as with all new technologies, only time will truly tell if Kiro becomes a legitimate, disruptive, cursor killer, and reshapes the landscape of AI-powered development. But regardless of which AI coding tool you choose, if you truly want to harness the full, transformative power of artificial intelligence, you absolutely need to grasp the foundational mathematics and computer science principles that underpin it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy coding!